Hey everybody, welcome to Art with Lisa. We have a super exciting class here today, and I can't wait for you to join me. Today we're going to talk about the secrets every successful artist knows. It's a simple class. All you're going to need today is a pencil, a ruler, and an eraser, and some paper. So let's get started. Everybody wants to know, how do you know how to do that? I wish I were an artist. You must have been born that way. Well, we talked about this. I don't really know if that's true or not. But over the 25 years that I've been a professional artist, I've learned some things that I want to share with you. And I think these are basic concepts that can be learned by anybody. Some of us are maybe born more observant, or we know how to see things clearly, observe things, catalog things, maybe watch a little more. But if you aren't born with that ability, you can certainly learn it. And here's the things I want to teach you. The first one is literally how to see. Our eyeballs are our best friends. Some of us use them more intensely than others to look at things, to notice that when we look at a tree, we're not just seeing a tree as people would represent a tree if they were asked to draw a tree, but we're noticing the imperfections, the fact that there's more on one side than the other, the bulk of mass and form and light and shadow, and how things are affecting it around the tree itself, and lots of different little pieces and parts that as an artist you're noticing when you're looking at something. That is what makes us able to represent something. So I want to teach you how to see. It's really the most important part of becoming an artist. The second thing are shapes, and they're very basic. We know that. We learn them from the time we're children. We understand what a square is, a circle, a triangle, a diamond, a long rectangle. We have these little games where we put them into the right hole in our little toy, and we pick them up and we put them in our mouths, and we learn that, oh, it's not just a flat thing. There's form to this, and there's actually substance to it, and these are the sides of it, and this is the top and the bottom. And then as we get older, if we become an artist, then we start to see how things go together, a triangle on top of a square. And here's how, when we do perspective, this is what happens to it. And here's where the door would be. And when you do windows sideways and they go away from you, they get smaller and smaller. And all of these little things that we learn as an artist become what we can refer to or what we can draw on in our brain when we're trying to replicate something. So shapes is the next thing. The third thing is values. Oh, it sounds like a big scary word, but it's really not. It's the difference between light and dark. And when a light shines on something and it's projecting a light onto an object, say we have a long block here, and the light is coming down on it, where the light is, where the light hits it, it is the lightest, and the further away something goes from the light source, the darker it gets, until there is no light whatsoever on it. So a lot of people would call this shading. Artists call it values. The ability to see the light, medium, and dark tones on a subject. The fourth one is line. Sounds really simple. When you draw something, we draw a line to represent what that is. But when you want something to look realistic and you draw it, you may or may not leave the line all the way around. Maybe you just do lines around the darkest part of it. And as you start to shade, or as you start to turn it into something real, then those lines disappear. And we don't see the lines on the outside edge. So there's lots of different ways to draw and represent. Cartooning, or obviously there's lots of different kinds of art representation, but when you're wanting something to look very realistic, you don't always see the lines all the way around it. They may disappear, and because our mind knows that that's a ball, or we understand that that has form, our brain fills in the rest of it, and we don't have to have all the lines around there. We can look at something like this and know that it actually is a sphere, but it doesn't need all the lines. And the fifth one is color. And color is something that speaks to a lot of people. Everybody loves to see color. We like to put it into things. We like to have it in our pictures. We like color photography. We like color paintings. Obviously, there's room for all different facets of art. Some people do everything in black and white or grayscale, pencil. But if you are a lover of color, it's really exciting to learn the color wheel, the precepts, the basics of primaries and secondaries and tertiaries and quaternaries. And oh, it all sounds complicated. But really, once you know the basics of all these things and you know how to put them together, you can become a better artist. But I have taught thousands of students over the years. And what I will continue to tell all of them is you cannot be a good painter. You cannot be a good sculptor. You cannot sketch well. You cannot do any of this well until you learn how to draw. The most important thing. And how do you learn how to draw? You must begin with being able to see things like an artist.